Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Enjoy your home for the holidays with store-wide savings at Room to Room. 50% off, 48-month special financing, and as our gift to you, a free accessory buyer's card. There's something here for everyone, including gift cards. Merry Christmas from Room to Room Tupelo.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Jacket not necessary as much today, though, I mean, obviously, you still probably need it to a certain extent. I'm meteorologist Matt Lawpon. Thank you so much for joining us for Mississippi Live Weather at 5 on this beautiful Wednesday. Just only, 8 days away from Christmas at this point here? I mean, if you're counting hours, less than that, as we're looking ahead toward a pattern that eventually goes warmer, but has one big drop between now and then. That's what we're looking at as showers moving through the area today. And most of those have moved on out. We'll look at Mississippi Live Weather Radar. We do still have a few little blips of green showing up on the radar sweeps there here in just a moment. Better chances on the way as we look toward tomorrow. Maybe some rumbles with that. Last time we talked a little bit about a very limited severe weather risk. I don't know that that's going to come to play for most locations. We didn't think it would last night, and I think less convinced that that'll be the case again, looking at what we're looking at this evening here. But warmer weather is on the way as we look toward this upcoming weekend and, of course, Christmas week as well. Outside this evening, though, we're 52, as you can see, at 6, 47 degrees by 9, 46 as we look toward midnight, with rain chances increasing slightly more during the overnight hours of the first part of early Thursday. Some storms, again, not an impossibility, but most will be well below severe limits to the complaints of nobody as far as that's concerned. But man, oh man, look at this camera in Pontotoc this evening. This is a beautiful shot using the North Mississippi Storm Chasers camera there in the Pontotoc area as we look out. 52 degrees current temperature at this time under, again, what are mostly clear conditions. Just an absolutely beautiful evening taking shape out there. And you can see Sherman showing, again, that mix of clouds at this time. 52 degrees current temperature. Feels like 52 at this instant there in the Sherman area as well, with relatively light winds and starting to bring a little more moisture in, though dew point still only mid-30s at this point in time. Crenshaw, and that dew point showing up a little higher there at around 50. That's more moisture coming in that'll feed some of the thunderstorms. Definitely more present out than the Delta than for locations in Northeast Mississippi. Of course, surface roughness having something to do with that, because with, again, more trees and hills and things like that, it's just slower for that moisture to return northward for a lot of spots there. So as we look at rainfall totals today, that's, again, one of the things that we did have and did experience. There's some showers out there with some rainfall amounts. We show half inch or so there for Batesville back towards Senatobia. Another little stripe there of around half an inch of rainfall. But in general, most locations not seeing nearly as much. If I kind of clear that off and just kind of query and a few other spots, you can see Chula, we show about 0.05 of an inch there. Most spots less than an inch, certainly quite a bit less than an inch out there as far as rainfall was concerned for today. Look at the latest here on Mississippi Live Weather Radar, and just a few sprinkles kind of showing up out there for locations back to about Chula, Yazoo City, showing a little bit of moisture out there. Put this into motion, give you kind of a loop on this over the last hour for some of those spots. Go and clear off that. But again, not a lot of this probably making it all the way to ground level, but a little bit of that trying to get there a little closer to Winona at this time. But if I were to switch to a different radar site, let's say out of Jackson, Mississippi, for example, still show some there, but you see everything there south of Aden doesn't show up because we're scanning up into those high clouds. We're seeing what in a lot of cases isn't making it all the way to the surface. So as far as meaningful moisture is concerned, the stuff kind of adds up. That's not really what we're getting out of this here. Wider shot across the state of Mississippi shows, again, no real front associated with this wave of moisture. And even down south, there's not a ton to speak of there that we are tracking. Back to the north and western, though, this is our next frontal system. This will bring us a change in the weather for tomorrow. And this, of course, is going to bring us some rain and storm chances. Sitting better part of around 800 or so miles away at this time. So still going to make up some pretty good pace as it gets closer to us. I referenced the moisture a moment ago. That is based on the dew point, which is a measure of moisture based on the same scale as the temperature. The reason this is important, this fuels thunderstorms. And we look for these values to be fairly decent, fairly high for us to see more active weather. You can see where we have the greens up here saying we at least have some moisture. That's where we're more, say, in the 50s as far as dew points are concerned. There's more of that in the delta, as we talked about. But this richer moisture that would yield more thunderstorms is going to slide northward. I just don't think it gets here in time for us to really sink our teeth into more significant severe weather chances. Thankfully, not that anybody really complains about that, but we'll look more at the severe weather risk areas coming up here in a couple of minutes. Still, as we're saturating the atmosphere, adding more moisture, trying to bring us a slightly better chance for a few showers. Certainly a lot better out into Arkansas, back out toward Missouri than here in the Magnolia State, though we do show a few lighter showers here a little closer. Look at the state as a whole for a moment, with maybe one rumble down there just kind of barely off the screen. Let's go ahead and kind of widen it just as I zoomed it in, but let's get that one there. Let's show, yeah, a couple of rumbles, but there's a lot more moisture down south, right? Notice how as we go throughout the overnight hours, we start to show a few more of those getting going down here toward Hattiesburg or Jackson or Meridian, a sign that where there's more moisture, there's more fuel. Where there's more fuel, more likely to have some rumbles. But you compare that to what we have in North Mississippi, and that's just not an issue. We show maybe only one spot with a couple of rumbles out there for early tomorrow, but slightly better chances as that moisture works northward and that next front approaches. The combination of those two things will lead to few rumbles. If we were to see that, it's most likely for that to happen midday into the afternoon, kind of based on the latest thinking here. Rain coverage, we're looking at around 40% or so kind of at peak, and that still means, as far as additional rainfall amounts are concerned, we're not expecting them to be over the top with this system, but note temperatures into the 60s. And that is something that we have quite a bit more of looking forward, some warmer temperatures. And that's one of the many things we're looking at here in just a moment as Mississippi Live Weather continues in 60 seconds, how much we warm things up as we get closer to Christmas. We also have, of course, the Alabama and Ole Miss football forecast, big playoff games upcoming over the next few days. We're looking at what those forecasts are for both of those games as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room Room Weather Center right after this.
The number one reason insurance denies roof claims is not what you think. Insurance companies aren't denying your claim because you don't have damage. They're denying it because they don't have documentation. This is why we use drones, AI technology, satellite imagery, and just good old roofing experience to document everything that might be wrong with your roof. You as a homeowner need a roofer with documentation standards. Call Absolute Restoration. Let us come and inspect, document, and present.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you. Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lobhon.
Well, welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather here at 5 p.m. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon. Our meteorologist Gabe Maynard back in the studio this evening as we are looking at severe weather risk for your Thursday. And if you're like, okay, waiting for it to populate in here, no graphic is working. We did have a limited risk for the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, put out for locations up into Tennessee. That's something that they have not continued today, simply because, again, some of the things remain a bit out of phase. There's more moisture south, enough for thunderstorms, as you saw a moment ago. Stronger winds aloft, enough to make them severe, but there's not a good overlap, and you have to have an overlap of those two main ingredients. We don't have that, even if a front is moving into the area. So one of the things limiting the severe weather risk for your Thursday and thus for really the next couple of days. Latest scans here on Mississippi Live Weather Radar showing up mostly dry. Do show a few showers down here south toward Hattiesburg and Jackson. A few also as we get up here closer to, say, Yazoo City and Grenada. We talked about this a moment ago. See the different angles on all this? I layered all the radars on here at the same time to show you it looks like a ton of rainfall, right? But if we are able to kind of cut that down to just the closest sort of scans, we would show that there's a lot less out there. Case in point, I'm going to see if I can kick this over to analysis mode here, kind of behind the scenes. We'll go back to just a regular rainfall mode, and then you'll be able to kind of see the combination there. See how it's a lot lighter when we just look at here Durant and Goodman and Pickens versus what we had just a second ago on kind of the wider shot here for a moment. As this illustrates, again, it has a lot more showers out there. So it's one of the signs that, again, most of this moisture is not making it down to surface level. So yes, could you have some sprinkles tonight? Possibly. Are you going to see anything that really adds up to anything in the rain gauge? No. Now, looking toward tomorrow, our rain and storm chances are there once again, more likely to be somewhat heavier than today, more likely to have some rumbles. Only 2 days of school for a lot of folks left before the, winter break, Christmas break upcoming here. But expect tomorrow to be one of those where we have some rain chances. And certainly different from earlier this week where we're in the teens to start the day. We're 50. We'll be 63 by the final bell on your Thursday. So expected to be obviously fairly warm, a few rumbles, but as we showed you a moment ago, no severe weather on that IMPC school day forecast on Thursday. So looking ahead, again, let's talk about how this is going to kind of play out. We have the high-level cloud cover showing up there in the Amory area at this time. Temperature in Amory coming in around 52 degrees at this instant here. Under, again, that mix of cloud cover, some beautiful colors showing up there. Caledonia, man, just kind of looking behind the scenes at this one here. This one is pretty spectacular for you there in Caledonia. Loving the way that looks. Again, 54 degrees right now in Caledonia, that current temperature as well. Just a beautiful mix of cloud cover there, and appreciate the good folks at North Mississippi Storm Chasers for lending us these cameras that we do show you here. And then Oxford, we're looking at 55 degrees at that temperature. Just the angle we have it here, don't have that same glow in the clouds showing up at this point and time. So Futurecast, maybe a few sprinkles out there. You don't see much on the map around the region as we are predominantly dry again going into and through tonight under these mostly clear conditions, at least the lower levels, meaning it's mainly high cloud cover out there. Showing some showers out here, Marianna, Arkansas, Carlisle, Little Rock for locations back that direction. Overnight, we start to see an extra bit of moisture starting to arrive. Wider shot kind of does a good job of showing that. As you'll notice, some of these storms getting a little heavier down here south toward Forest and back toward Macomb and Hattiesburg by 6 a.m. on your Thursday morning there. Maybe one or two rumbles like what we depict there close to Louisville and Ackerman, a possibility on that moisture again returning. Low temperatures tomorrow morning, you can kind of see where that moisture is more prevalent. That's where we're out here, only 50 for that low in Clarksdale, Cleveland, Belzona coming around 50 degrees for that low temperature under what should be, again, mostly cloudy skies and a few sprinkles to begin the day. Normal's 38, so way above that because of this moisture. So maybe a few rumbles with this. You're looking at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. This latest version of the HRRR model, again, we're going to have a better look at this as we go into the evening. We get some of the latest data in. Keeping the thunderstorm chances, though, out here toward locations into Arkansas, closer to that front as we head toward mid-morning and toward midday. Maybe a rumble ahead. More than anything, just some moderate showers out of this activity here. There's just not a ton of fuel instability to work off of there. In saying that, though, we do get a few thunderstorms, more than what we showed last night here on Mississippi Live. And as we'll notice, this does have at least the look of a few of these getting somewhat heavier. Strong might be overstating the case a little bit, but these do get heavier also along the front as well. So the takeaway should be picking up the kids from school tomorrow, more likely have some rumbles, maybe some gusty wind if we were to get something heavy to strong. Most storms, though, should be, again, below severe limits. But we really haven't had a whole lot of storms recently, so don't be shocked if you're like, whoa, that was a little bit windy and breezy. It probably will be. But luckily, it should be non-severe, and by that I mean less likely to be damaging. So high temperatures. Normal for this time of year, 30-year average is 55 degrees. We're going to be 67 in Greenwood, 65 degrees Grenada, 68 in Kosciuszko. We're 65 Louisville for Columbus coming up at 65, 64 for Amory, and 60 degrees for Red Bay and Iuka. So as that front kind of sweeps in, it will have much, much drier air move in behind it. So this is largely the showers just ahead of the front and then right at the front itself. And then after that, we're done for a while as that kind of sweeps a lot of the moisture away from the north and west. The air behind this cooler, a little bit drier. It's not as big of a drop-off in temperatures as the last big front to come through the area, so that means we'll warm up a bit more going into this upcoming weekend. But yeah, clearly moving most of the moisture on out of here by the first part of early Friday morning as high pressure is building closer to us Still enough of a breeze to be fairly chilly to begin the day on Friday. So low temperatures on Friday morning expected to be somewhere in the middle to, we'll say, lower 30s, about 32 degrees in Senatobia, 31 for Holly Springs. We typically should be 36. Instead, we'll be 36. As you can see, Greenwood for Cleveland, for Eupora about 35 as well, Starkville as well. So overall temperatures running just a hint below our normal for this time of year, and there will be more of a wind chill. We'll look at that 6 o'clock, those wind chill temperatures related to this. About last time we'll say that looking into the extended forecast, maybe early Saturday morning, but after that, most of the next week is looking pretty warm out there, certainly for what we expect for this time of year. So Futurecast keeping those northerly winds around as we go into Friday and through the day, looking dry here by midday on our hybrid between the HRRR and Strike model. Again, high pressure is largely the story on Friday, and for us, that means relatively calm winds. But you can see on the back side of this, all these dots back out there into, say, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas, getting fairly breezy there for locations that direction, kind of on the backside of this high, as they're warming things up a little bit more, certainly than what they will be there by Friday. We'll look at what that means for the Alabama, Oklahoma forecast here in a couple of moments. So highs on your Friday. We're only going about 52 degrees in Grenada, 53 in Greenwood, 54 Kosciuszko, 50 for Houston, 49 for both Tupelo and Amory. And again, all of those are a bit below our normal for this time of year, with still a wind chill probably noticeable even into the midday to afternoon time period on your Friday. Okay, so we alluded to it a moment ago. It's going to be fairly windy there for the Alabama, Oklahoma forecast. We're talking sustained winds back out there on the plains in the neighborhood of around 20, 25 miles per hour. It means gusts 35 or more. So wind will absolutely be a factor. And if you happen to be one of those folks, one of those Alabama fans making the trip out there, expect it to be fairly cool, obviously pretty breezy. The thing that also went through my head a second ago, I mentioned Norman, Oklahoma a ton because every time we talk about the Storm Prediction Center, the ones that put out those risks for severe weather, it's actually out there in Norman, believe it or not. So I've been there before, National Weather Center. It's really kind of a cool place on the campus there of the University of Oklahoma. That has nothing to do with this game, but for whatever reason popped in my mind, and occasionally the ADHD, what comes in my mind comes right out of my mouth. And appreciate Carl Hogan for sponsoring our SEC football forecasts. Be doing that for SEC baseball forecasts in the spring. We're really looking forward to that as well. So Tulane, of course, making the trip into Oxford on Saturday. That's a pretty mild forecast. I mean, come on, 61 for the first play of that game at 2:30. The fact that this is the first playoff game in Mississippi history, obviously a big deal, but the forecast is just going to be pretty spectacular. So excited to see how that one ends up playing out. Certainly Ole Miss expected in good shape there. I'm not going to say anything to jinx anybody, but we'll see how that one ends up going. Cooler, obviously, it's a big switch from Friday to Saturday. Depending on how early you're getting out there to the Grove on Saturday, it'll be still fairly chilly to begin the day. That 62 in the afternoon, we're looking at almost a 30-degree swing there. That tells you the dry air is largely the story. Limited rain chances by Sunday into Monday next week. Not seeing much in the way of moisture there as temperatures are getting a little bit warmer. Low 60s by next Monday. But then we're upper 60s looking toward Tuesday and near 70 degrees by Christmas Eve. That's right. Next Wednesday is going to be Christmas Eve. Man, I don't know about you. I'm not ready. I have this list of the kids that keeps running around, and I just can't ever make the time to order that last gift or pick up that last gift or two. So I'm probably going to have to make the time to do that here pretty soon. If you're looking for the forecast for Christmas, things are looking pretty good as well. Well, depending on your perspective, certainly it's going to be warm. Again, Christmas Eve, we're upper 60s for highs. We're going low 70s by Christmas Day, expecting to be dry and obviously pretty warm for each of those days. So looking forward to that. Merry Christmas. And it's definitely heading that direction. I got to bring Gabe in for a second. If he'll hop in front of the big monitor there for a second. I am curious if you have gotten all of your Christmas gifts picked out and ready to go, Gabe.
Oh, you want big monitor? Sorry, I went to the wrong one.
Well, that's okay. I can pop to the other one. You want me to go to the other one?
No, I'm Magic Man. I can go from one screen to another just like that.
Magic Gabe.
Well, let me tell you, with Christmas shopping, I decided I'm going to get a head start on it and get everything I need to out of the way. Well, I ordered it. The shipping has been the hardest part about it. I think some of my gifts have still not shipped, and I ordered those a week ago. So that's been the issue. So if my wife is watching,
local.
do what?
Shop local.
Yeah. And I should have taken a little bit more time to do so. But next year, we'll for sure be doing that for Cruz, for Annalise, for family. Yeah. So we'll definitely utilize Tupelo because there's no shipping when it comes to that. It's right there when you need it. So
Right there. Yeah. That's
But- I do have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Do you do the shopping for family or do you mainly give that to Emily?
No, that's Emily. No, they would get nothing if it was up to me. I am horrible. A part of the reason, okay, so there was a, I feel like, was it YouTube show called Adam Ruins Everything?
I've heard of that.
It's don't watch the one on Christmas. He ruins Christmas gift giving. Yes. I mean,
Are you saying that would be
watching, I was
you?
like, huh?
Are you saying that would be you?
I know. I'm saying I watched it and I'm like, oh, I have a really hard time giving Christmas gifts now because hey, I won't get into it. Anyway, that's obviously a big Easter egg for if you love giving Christmas gifts, definitely don't watch it. If you're looking for an excuse not to, I'm not saying watch it, but like it is the best evidence ever to like, the main gift I try to give people is time, right? If during the Christmas season, making sure that I can focus as much as possible on the family, that's the best gift because everything else is disposable.
Exactly right. And that's what it's about is family, seeing friends, just enjoying time with loved ones and taking a little bit of a break from the day-to-day life. And luckily, forecast shaping up phenomenally. You should be able to enjoy time with family outside, which how often are we able to say that in late December? So yeah, temperatures in the 70s, definitely a great forecast. And I know that you're talking about, you're not the best gift giver. Well, that's a pretty darn good gift that we're giving North Mississippi. So a good looking forecast.
I can't claim that. We don't get to claim that one because I'm not claiming the next time it storms on Christmas.
Well, I will gladly be the messenger whenever it comes to one of these forecasts. So we can be the third party. But yeah, shout out to the big man above for giving us a good forecast come Christmas.
Absolutely. Hey, and if you're looking for that gift, and this was not intentional, I wish I would say I'm this slick to be able to push one of this beforehand. A good Christmas gift could potentially be Weather Call. It's nerdy. Don't get me wrong. It's a nerdy Christmas gift. And you get this for your significant other or your grandchild, and they might be, they're not going to get it until they get that phone call in the middle of the night on some bad weather day or middle of the day on some bad weather day. It says, hey, this Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon, you need to get to shelter. But I think it's something worth doing. So anyway, that's one of the things I would definitely recommend for you, picking up Weather Call. It is a personalized tornado warning that'll keep you and your family safe. So worthwhile for $15 a year, probably the best stocking stuffer you can get them. Our next broadcast is going to be come up here in about 30 minutes on Mississippi Live weather at 6. What we're looking at towards 6. Again, some of those wind chill temperatures, just how cold conditions are going to end up being this upcoming couple of days here. We are looking toward the precipitation forecast. We'll dig specifically into what that looks like for the Ole Miss game. Obviously, you kind of saw a little bit related to that as far as the game for Alabama was concerned, kind of on that wide shot. But we'll dig into the Mississippi Ole Miss game as far as that's concerned. And we will be breaking down a little bit more on some of those storm chances, looking at fuel related to that. That's on Mississippi Live Weather at 6 here from the Room to Room Weather Center. We hope to see you then.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. We knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lopon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lopon has proven himself trustworthy